Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for being a little late. We had the WRDA bill on the floor where a number of our provisions, including Safe Drinking Water Act and some provisions for drought relief in the Klamath Basin were before the House. So I needed to speak on that before coming here. I want to thank you for holding this hearing. I want to thank our witnesses for being here. Today's hearing focuses on this topic that you've already heard from the Senator about, of great concern to Oregonians and those across the West who are experiencing terrible air quality, hazardous, dangerous, unhealthy air quality. Smoke from these wildfires is literally choking people to death. In my home state of Oregon alone, we've already seen over 700,000 acres destroyed by fire. These fires have left communities in my district blanketed with smoke and with the worst air quality in the world, period. Stop. Medford, Oregon experienced the worst run of unhealthy air quality since the EPA began making such determinations in 2000. The leading offender is particulate matter. An article in the New England Journal of Medicine in March pointed out the robust evidence linking exposure to particulate matter to cardiopulmonary mortality and issues with asthma and COPD. I heard from a woman yesterday on teletown hall, COPD. She was just getting out of the hospital, all as a result of this smoke. According to EPA research, premature deaths tied to wildfire air pollution were as high as 2,500 per year between 2008 and 2012. Other research out of Colorado State University suggests it could be as high as 25,000 people per year die prematurely because of this smoke. This is a life and death matter in the West. Making matters worse, it's hard to escape the smoke, even in your own home. Kurt in Eagle Point dropped off this air filter from his CPAP machine. I've got a picture of it up there. That filter is supposed to last for 2 weeks. That's, I believe, 2 days. You can see it up there and how dirty it got within 2 days inside his home during these fires. Or take this car cabin air filter. It was replaced after 2 months during the fire season. You can see up on the screen what a new one looks like. 2 months, that's what it looked like in his car. Nearly 3 decades of poor management have left our federal forests overstocked with trees and vegetation that fuel increasingly intense fires. Stepping up active forest management practices such as thinning, prescribed fire, and timber harvest, one of the best ways we could reduce the fuel loads and therefore the impact of the smoke from wildfires. Sadly, bureaucratic red tape, obstructionist litigation by special interest groups, it's all added up to make it very difficult to implement these science-based management techniques that we know work. And we're left to choke on the resulting wildfire smoke. 2017, the number of fires started on lands protected by the Oregon Department of Forestry and the U.S. Forest Service land were split nearly 50-50. Forest managed lands, however, accounted for over 90% of the acres burned, so that's the federal ground. This is partly due to forest management, but also how fires are fought. As fires are managed rather than suppressed and backburned acreages increase, there's a clear impact on air quality and therefore on the air quality and health of our citizens. These agencies need to do more to take this into account when they make their decisions. As devastating as it is in the summer months, fire can also be a management tool. We know that. Prescribed fire after mechanical thinning can help reduce fuel loads and reduce emissions by up to 75% if it's done at the right time and the right way. State smoke management plans set the process for these burns with an aim to protect public health, but also limit the work that gets done. According to the Forest Service data, smoke management issues limited between 10 and 20% of their prescribed fire projects last year in Oregon. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today about your perspectives on these issues and how we get the right balance. I also want to thank Senator Bartschiger for joining us from Oregon. He is the co-chair of the Bipartisan Fire Caucus in Oregon, has nearly 40 years of experience in wildland fire and forest management both. So thanks for flying out to be here. And just to conclude, I'd like to share a message I received from Jennifer. She's a mother in Medford, Oregon. Jennifer said, "As a native Oregonian living in Southern Oregon my entire life, I write to express my extreme frustration with Oregon's lack of forest management. This is now the 3rd or 4th year that we are hostages in our own homes, that my children are robbed of being able to play outside. I absolutely hate that nothing is done to prevent this from happening." Well, we're here to help the concerns I hear from people like Jennifer and families across my district who have one simple message: something needs to change. And in conclusion, I just got a email from a friend of mine in Medford who is on the Shakespeare board, the Oregon Shakespearean Theater board in Ashland, and they said, "I have exciting news. Our safety, health, and wellness managers sent this update. We are officially closing the smoke watch that started back on July 18th and returning to normal operations." I believe they had to cancel 25 outdoor plays at the Allen Elizabethan, and 1 for the Bomer, for a total of 26 cancellations for performances. And so this is a real bad thing for the economy. It's bad for our health. Mr. Chairman, I appreciate your holding this hearing, and I thank the witnesses for being here, and I yield back.
Gentlemen.